just like Publisher Clearinghouse, everything's going subscription. Come into your living room with Ed McMahon. He's dead. Click like and subscribe, hit the old bell, and join us now. Woo! Hey, it's Baxter
and Jonathan.
I don't know why I said click like and subscribe earlier.
It was good.
It just happened. Mixing it just kind of like threw out of my mouth. It was like raw, like word vomits.
When I was a kid, I did really think Ed McMahon would show up one day. And we might
I used to dream that too.
check.
I bet he was really nice, but I also felt like he was kind of like Vegas-y. He had those like weird glasses and like...
I'd hang out with him.
And he seemed like he was so old the whole time, but
yes.
Anyway. So we're talking about everything in your DAW world, your plugins. It's all starting to go subscription.
Everything.
Logic for the iPad just announced they're going subscription full on, $4.99 a month or $50 for the year, which isn't that much. You know, it's honestly not that bad, I guess, right?
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy about it.
Are we training America's youth for this right now? Because they already realize they're not going to own a house ever. But no, you will. If you work hard and go to college, you'll have a house. I promise. Just kidding. That's been robbed for lies. We'll figure that out somehow, though. I am working on that with my political person wife. We're going to make this a thing again.
Right.
No, you are. It's going to involve a lot of heavy lifting. We're going to make it a thing. It's possible. The American dream still exists. It's just been covered up with a bunch of stuff right now. But now they're trying to steal it from us with subscriptions.
Subscriptions. I mean, some subscriptions are good, right?
So there's some pros and cons, obviously.
Yes.
I think subscription services we've found with movies and all our streaming has been fantastic. We don't have to have a wall of VHS for DVDs anymore.
That's true, but there was some kind of joy of like looking through your DVDs or your CDs, right?
There was, and you'd watch the same crap all the time.
But I watch the same crap all the time now.
The Dark Crystal one more time. See, I mix it up. I'm on Ted Lasso season 3 right now, it's so good. I finish every episode just like, my God, what happy television.
I mean, like, there's the gems, right, that come through that everybody watches, but then most of the time I just feel like I just watch some crap.
So how do people feel about this, though? Like, if you're sitting at home watching now on the toilet, or if you're at your lunch having that right now, I'm talking to you, Paul, or if you're like, if you're swimming with the dolphins, watching your little waterproof iPhone Z, folks like that. Or if you're that one fellow, I forgot his name, who was trapped in her car while his wife was sleeping as a traveling nurse, but he was dying with our videos on loop until the paramedics showed up.
That's a real story.
We saw the story.
Dying to us.
I know. That would be a horror show. Like, God, the 7 levels of hell. Diablo coming out in June.
I mean, that could basically be a Black Mirror episode.
Oh, having to watch us. You go to heaven and that's all you see.
Oh, kill me. That's heaven.
Kill me, Baxter. No, so we're already seeing with some of the software plugins, and we're going to start seeing it with, I think, effects type of things.
I absolutely think we are.
I think all of our big boys are going to get in this game.
Yeah.
Fender, Gibson would love to get in that, but Fender, I can totally see doing it with their amp modeling. Because how cool would that be? I would even be interested if they're going to send you an amp modeling package of all the vintage Bassmans, Harvards, the brown faces.
Right.
Buy the brown face package.
The problem with that, right? Like, you want access to all of it. Like, I don't want it on a recurring basis. I want to just be able to say, okay, I want a Bassman today, and tomorrow I want a Deluxe Reverb, and tomorrow I want a Princeton, and then some weird thing later.
But if they leak it into like a $5 or $250 a month,
and then you decide, no, that's fine.
Because if you think about it, how much does Logic cost? Let's go back to that.
$200,
$300, isn't it?
No, I looked last night.
Okay, I thought it used to be $300 in the day, guys. So $200. So the course of your Logic though, it's out of date.
Yeah.
Like after a few years, like you're gonna have to do all the updates or something, or buy a new package, I think, usually.
So sort of fine with like subscribing to that. I'd be fine subscribing to, like, if it was literally $5 a month, maybe I'd do Final Cut and Logic for $10 a month instead of just buying them outright.
So that's like fair. They have you for life in a weird way. They want to keep you in the
I'm gonna be the voice of cold reason and pessimism.
I could do this too.
So, I remember back, it's been years now, when I was like, screw cable. I'm going to just stream things. So we cut our cable down to where you just get the internet, right?
Yes.
Which was substantially cheaper. And then it was great because, I got Netflix and like Hulu, and they were like $6 a month or something.
Ain't that anymore?
And I'm like, wow, this is way cheaper. Well, then, hey, Dad, we need to watch this thing. So we're getting, Peacock and Disney. And then the kids have like some other like 97 things because they watched this one show. And now I would say my bill is probably more to stream than I used to pay for cable.
That's a long time ago, though. Too.
That's true. That's true. I'm just saying, don't get yourself.
You are much nicer than I am as far as the thing. Because like I spend on some things, but I'm super thrifty.
Right.
Some call me cheap. Like we do have some streaming services, and maybe some other people might steal mine sometimes. And that's okay. I don't mind that. I like to share that. But we don't have many. And my kids might be like, hey, like they don't know it's other friends that have other stuff. If they do, they don't bring it up to me because they don't get it. They have what we have, and they get what they get.
That's right.
Because they're children. They're gonna eat broccoli, and they're gonna have breakfast if they don't have it that evening. But no, so I hear you. That has become a thing. And it's going to become that way with music too. If we don't watch it, if you don't like sort of, you have to tighten the belt every once in a while. And but now streamers are like this,
right?
But the young streamers like they'll watch Netflix till the shows are done, drop it.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Pull it back up a couple months later. I'm an old school guy. It's this weird sense of, I don't know if it's internal pride. Like I've been a Netflix subscriber since the DVDs. I've got them still coming. The last DVDs just shipped out. They're not doing that anymore. They just finished it up.
That's just an aside. I remember like years ago, I got a thing for Christmas or something. It was like, with Netflix, you used to get the actual DVD and you send it back. You would literally get effects pedals. You get pedals, and you have 2 or 3 depending on what tier subscription you had. And then when you were done, you send them back, and you had this list online of what you wanted. They'd send you what was available. That was really freaking cool.
And that's kind of fun.
It was fun.
That stuff can add up, but I almost, that would be more fun in a weird way than buying and having to sell it, and then buying and selling it.
Yeah, on that, right? Got one you just had to have. There was a price to buy it, like basically a used price to buy it.
Or it's just a great way to try them if you want to buy one.
Yeah, you can, right?
And then cancel your subscription once you found it. It's a tricky business that we're going into. I positively foresee our major manufacturers in the guitar world doing this.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Universal Audio already sells the bundles, but they also have the rental things. Right.
Well, obviously they've got the plugins, right? But like UA is a good example. They've got these new pedals. They've got the 3 amp in a box ones, right? The Ruby and the Woodrow and the Dream 65, which I think are all fantastic and sound great, right?
Yes.
But they also have the new line. They've got the new Max compressor. They've got the Galaxy and the Astra and all these things. You could have a subscription thing where you probably could use that existing hardware where they beam it to you, and you update the firmware. I mean, so it's all sort of getting set up to do.
Well, and what's if Fender's purchase of PreSonus,
right?
It sort of gives them that sort of easy, accessible avenue into your home DAW recording stuff.
Right.
That they're going to start sort of managing some of their Fender IPOs, not IPOs. What did I say IPO? Initial public offerings. Whoops, wrong word entirely. Just that happened. Something my brain just fried out. I was thinking about stocks the other day, and I'm still having flashbacks to the Fender IPO that happened and it didn't happen.
It did happen.
I really wanted to own some of Fender, and then I was gonna be a Fender owner. I'll be a Fender share, and then it never happened. I probably lost my shirt. It's like when I bought Tonka toys because I was into Tonka. Anyway, no, but Fender's properties, their intellectual properties, not their
just IP,
not their initial public offerings. Their IPs. Yeah, I just add the O because I'm stupid sometimes.
You gotta do that.
It was fun. It just makes sense when they have them in their tone master things, whatever they're called, their little amps.
Yeah. Right.
Tone master thing. Tone King. No, it's Tone Master. Tone King's a really good amp. Tone Master is a Fender thing that is really light. That's a fun parlor trick too. If you haven't done that, like you take the little tag off, you pick up your Tone Master, like your twin or your deluxe or whatever, and so throw it around like really light, give a kid could carry it, and then you switch it with a real one for someone else to carry it.
Do the twin. That'd be the best one.
It was fun. Sorry, that's a lot of joy we have.
But those are odd, right? Again, like the UA pedals, it's just that one amp, like when it used to be the Cyber Twin, and it was all the Fender amps, right? But
it wasn't that good though. I feel like the Fender has the technology is now there where they could sell you like a brown box and then a blackface box that would have like all the blackface, all the brown, brown face and tweeds and
that's true. They could totally do that. I will say there's a weird, I think, counter to the subscription stuff that's happening. Have you heard of this NAM?
You were telling me about this the other. Tell us.
Man, it's free. It's free software, and it's literally profiles of amps, and there's a community. And you get on there, and it's like anything you can imagine.
We're gonna be doing that just with our members only too, just to help.
We're gonna do it. So like, you know, I have been
Profiling all of ours.
messing around with the Tonex stuff, which is IK Multi. And there's just, I mean, like obviously you have to buy the pedal to use it live, but the software is free, and the community is huge. And there's, I mean, like, you know,
Well, it's like the idea of the internet. It was supposed to be all free. You know, it's kind of, at least there's free access to sharing of information. You just have to have access to the ability to get on it.
but someone actually, I did a video about it. I put it out for my members, and I put it on my channel afterwards. And one of the comments was, well, you know, this sounds good and it's cool, but I hate the subscription thing where I don't get to own anything. And I was like, well, that's not what this is. I was like, you can profile your own amps. You can share them. It's free to go find everyone. Some guys are doing like crazy amps, and you buy them outright and you own them for like $20 for a pack or whatever. I mean,
So it does exist. There's still the business. We just sort of see the wave of the future shifting to subscription based. It makes the businesses like it. It's easier in the pocketbook sometimes. We've gotten so used to buying things on credit now. It's just how we live.
I mean, and you know, a lot of people would dig being able to like pay $5-10 a month and have access to any amp or effect without buying some unit that it will be obsolete.
Well, yeah. I remember back in the day when I was really into recording and stuff, like when I saw like the Ocean Way packages you could buy for the drums, and like how good they sound. I was like, oh, I want that, but it's so expensive. I can't do it. And so yeah, if it was a little fee, you could do it while you're doing a project, then cancel it.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, that's true. That's the way you could do it too. Like, oh, I got these 3 projects coming up. I'm going to have this for 3 months. Then I'm good. Then you'll find you can't live without it.
That's what they're hoping. That's what they want.
You probably can't live without it.
But I mean, if you stay busy enough, you kept doing projects, then buy the subscriptions.
You won't. You'll just be like me and just have too much fun with it, making drum noise.
And then one day you'll just live on your computer and you'll never touch it again. You'll be a golem, but you'll always pay. You'll always pay if I got, yeah, that's true.
I mean, the amount of time I spend like looking at guitars online too versus playing them sometimes, like stop it. So I'll shut after work sometimes I'll just have to close the computer down and be like, I'm not going to look at it. Because I would look at it all night, like still answering emails. I have to try to have a balance where I actually play my instruments too.
I mean, so like, you know, we're talking about subscriptions with like amp sounds and effects, right? And obviously plugins if you're recording and that kind of stuff. But I mean, I feel like our good old analog tactile guitars are relatively safe from subscriptions at the moment.
Yes.
I don't know how that would ever.
Until you meet us on the Meta.
Oh, God.
And they're all out there, and you can just buy a guitar experience with your Oculus, and you can play like front row at a concert with the Rolling Stones.
You can buy your, what is it? What's the one you want? The fish guitar?
The Languedoc.
A Languedoc skin for when you're in the metaverse.
When I'm playing with Phil,
Dead
Dead at the famous 1970s show. If you're Deadhead, what's that show in 1970? That's the iconic one, you know. But every really hardcore Deadhead's like, duh.
They can't comment fast enough.
What's
right
the
now?
square root of pi? I think
Uh-huh.
Okay. It's like the Allman Brothers never had an iconic show, so it's hard to track any of theirs.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
He doesn't mean it. It's fine.
Live at the Phil Bottom. Wouldn't it be funny if it was called the Phil Bottom?
Phil less.
The Phil is
less.
Oh, terrible. No,
Bye. They're like, these guys are idiots.
Phil be honest.
Joking.
I know.
No.
It's like I was watching Ted Lasso the other night, and like there's a part where, like this guy was like, no, like the Eagles are much better musicians than Led Zeppelin, but it's in England, so the British press is like, what are you talking? They were coming to blows almost. It was fantastic. Forgot which guitar player was better. You ever players from the Eagles? Same again.
Joe Walsh.
The other
Bernie Ledden was the original guy, and then Felder, Don Felder.
It must have been Joe Walsh that he was talking about. He's like, no, Joe Walsh is better than Jimmy Page. I mean, you could make an argument, but Jimmy Page is a god.
It's just hard to like even if you maybe think that, you're like, oh, when you say that.
I mean, it's that you could make the argument, but it's like Jimmy Page is like a living god. So it's like you can't really. It's like oh, Zeus, like there's better gods than Zeus.
It's just hard because that was like a first, right? And Led Zeppelin was like a first. And it's sort of like when people say that like players today are way more technically proficient than Jimi Hendrix. Well, okay, maybe so, but
it's not because they're first. It's just they're better. I mean, I'll lock it in. Like I don't care how technically fast you are and how many notes you can. They're better. With Jimmy Page and Jimi Hendrix,
creativity. They made this thing that did not exist.
What they did with their fingers.
It's just amazing.
Things that happen. I mean, you can sit there, you can play, you think you can play the Zeppelin solos note for note or the Hendrix ones. You can't. You can't play like those guys did it. It's, some of these like fast fluid, like just scale exercise, you can learn that as a thing and you can probably get it pretty close.
No one really plays like anybody else. That's what you realize, I think, the longer you play. Everyone sort of has their idiosyncratic like little things they do that maybe it's not good, but it's their thing.
I mean, hey, he's cast lightning bolts from his fingers. That's right. Because he's Zeus of guitar. It's like, man.
That's not much of a Page fan, you can tell.
I'm gonna go with the big four always. It's like you can't like, I'm not really a big fan of them. Like Clapton, Page, Hendrix. Then I'm gonna jump into Stevie Ray Vaughan, David Gilmour. It's like, you get a bit. Well, they're not. I don't like their tone or their style. It's like, just stop it. They're amazing.
They're just really
amazing.
Yeah,
everything about them's amazing. That's all I got to say.
Go subscribe to the thing.
Or don't, just go listen to the Led Zeppelin 1 and 2 and just be quiet. No, I'm kidding. Be happy. It's like everything. You're like, oh my God, I'm excited for how good they are until I go back and listen to them.
That is true.
It's sort of because Led Zeppelin, yeah, they're great, whatever. Like, then you listen to 1 and 2, you're like, oh.
I mean, there's so many old songs like that you like. You have this impression of them in your brain, and then you hear like I have this a lot with Elijah. Like where we'll listen to old rock songs, and he just will lose his mind, in the car. And I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I forget, like he's into that. I forgot why we heard it, but we heard that song "Renegade" by Styx on something like on some movie, and he's like, "Dad, what is that?" And I'm like, well, it's just old. And in my brain, I'm like, oh, it's just an old rock song, blah blah, whatever. So then we pull it up in the truck and we start listening to it, and I'm like, damn, this is really.
It's like the Lonely Heart by Yes comes on. Yeah. It's
like, wow, this is actually a ridiculously amazing song.
Everything about this is great, and they're such good players. What's happening? And you blow up. That's a whole other video. You got 2 for 1 today.
That's right. Sorry.
Got excited. I'm just excited. It's like Twinkies. Cake and filling.
Can't eat too many. They're great for you, full of vitamins.
I mean, that's true in the apocalypse, I think. That's why Woody Harrelson's character in Zombieland was like,
anything that's not radioactive.
I mean, is any zombie or it's not radioactive, I'm eating it. It's like bottle cough syrup. Like,
did you eat a zombie?
No, I don't think so. I think the blood would infect you.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing. I think you touched zombie.
True.
God, I just don't want to get a zombie. That'd be a bad death.
Or a fungi creature.
Yeah. That'd be worse. I feel like that's worse. You guys just put me out. So thanks for joining us. Click like, subscribe.
Hit the old bell.
Peace be with you all.